Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.
हर साल क्रिप्टो टैक्सेशन पर इंडियंस को कुछ सवाल तो होते ही हैं और हर साल हम उन FAQs के जवाब देते भी हैं। तो चलिए शुरू करते हैं। Hi everyone, this is Sudeshna Nayak from CoinDCX और हमारे साथ हैं CA सोनू जैन from the KoinX team और आज हम डिस्कस करेंगे India's crypto taxation FAQs. Okay, let's begin with the first FAQ. Sonu, over to you. How are crypto assets taxed in India?
Yeah, thank you, Sudeshna. जब हम क्रिप्टो एसेट्स की बात करते हैं तो इन इंडिया द क्रिप्टो टैक्स के स्पेसिफिक जो रूल्स और रेगुलेशंस थे, जो इनकम टैक्स गाइडलाइंस थे, दे वर इशूड इन द बजट ऑफ 2022. सो जिसका रिटर्न विल बी फाइल्ड नाउ बाय 31st of July. So precisely it is a very important question for the crypto community as to कि क्रिप्टो इनकम पर हम टैक्स कैसे दें. तो अगर मैं इसको वेरी सिंपली बोलूं कि अगर आप क्रिप्टो में ट्रेडिंग कर रहे हो या फिर आप फॉर दैट मैटर एनएफटीज में भी ट्रेडिंग कर रहे हो, तो आपको उस ट्रेडिंग पर जो भी प्रॉफिट हो रहा है, तो दैट प्रॉफिट विल बी टैक्स्ड एट 30%. नाउ हाउ डू यू कैलकुलेट प्रॉफिट? तो प्रॉफिट हम कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे? तो इसके लिए आपको अपने सेल वैल्यू लेना होगा. सेल वैल्यू से आप अपना जो बाई वैल्यू होगा उसको रिड्यूस करेंगे, तो जो भी बचेगा इट विल बी योर प्रॉफिट. तो उस प्रॉफिट पे आपको 30% से टैक्स देना है. तो दैट इज द फर्स्ट पॉइंट. नाउ सेकेंड पॉइंट इसकी आपको यहाँ पर एक चीज का ये ध्यान रखना है कि आपको सेट ऑफ लॉसेस नहीं मिलेगा. तो अगर मैंने बीटीसी में लॉस किया है, आई कैन नॉट सेट इट ऑफ विद एनी अदर प्रॉफिट्स इन क्रिप्टो इनकम. तो अगर मेरा बीटीसी में गेन है, आई कैन नॉट सेट इट ऑफ विद बीटीसी लॉस. अगर मेरा इथेरियम में गेन है और बीटीसी में लॉस है, आई कैन नॉट सेट ऑफ बोथ ऑफ इट. तो इसको अगर मैं समरी में बताऊं कि अगर आपको प्रॉफिट हो रहा है, प्रॉफिट पे आप 30% दो. अगर आपका लॉस हो रहा है तो दैट इज अ डेड लॉस.
Cool, Sonu. Thank you for that. So the next question is, if I have losses by trading in crypto assets, can I set off losses with my gains from crypto?
Yes, Sudeshna. So like I mentioned, तो यहाँ पर दो तीन चीजें निकल के आती है. तो it is one of the most confusing point for the crypto industry as to whether I can set off the loss. If I can set off, is it allowed within the same coin or is it not allowed within the same coin? Is it allowed between two different coin or not allowed between two different coin? So this is a very big confusion in the crypto industry. Now, as per the section 115 BBH, which deals with taxation of all the crypto assets and NFTs. So the section says in very simple words that we will not allow you set off of any losses.
Okay.
Now, any would include whether I incurred losses in the same coin, I cannot set it off. Whether I incurred losses between two different assets, I cannot set them off. Whether I incurred losses in VDS, but then I have gains in, let's say, any other capital asset like shares, I still cannot set it off. So in very simple words, this is a bit of a harsh regime for Indian investors because obviously when you're trading, you will have both profits and losses. So ultimately what the government is saying, if you are trading, you make profit, I take 30% of those profits. But if by chance you end up in a loss, that is a loss which is a hit to your P&L.
Understood. So if I cannot set off my losses, can I carry forward those losses?
Yes, another very important question which also flows from the set off question. तो यहाँ पर ये चीज है कि आपको उन्होंने सेट ऑफ लॉस तो अलाउ नहीं किया, लेकिन इसके साथ उन्होंने ये भी बता दिया कि अगर आपका लॉस है भी, वी विल नॉट अलाउ यू टू कैरी फॉरवर्ड. क्योंकि अगर हम ट्रेडिशनली देखें इन शेयर्स एंड सिक्योरिटीज, आपको कैरी फॉरवर्ड मिलता है, आपको सेट ऑफ मिलता है. बट स्पेसिफिकली फॉर वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट्स, जिसको हम क्रिप्टो भी बोलते हैं, तो फॉर दैट आपको सेट ऑफ भी नहीं मिलेगा, नॉर विल यू गेट बेनिफिट ऑफ कैरी फॉरवर्ड ऑफ लॉसेस.
Thank you for your answer, Sonu. This also brings me to another question. Are all crypto incomes taxed at flat 30%? जैसे डिफरेंट तरह के क्रिप्टो इनकम होते हैं, राइट? सैलरी होती है, कंसल्टेंसी होती है, एयरड्रॉप्स होते हैं, स्टेकिंग इनकम भी होते हैं. तो इन सारे डिफरेंट क्रिप्टो इनकम्स को हम लोग कैसे टैक्स करते हैं एंड व्हाट इज द प्रोसेस लाइक?
Yes, Sudeshna. So I think तो पहली चीज ये है कि फॉर क्रिप्टो इन्वेस्टर्स वन ऑफ द रिलीफ इज दैट कि उनके सारे जो क्रिप्टो के इनकम्स है, जैसे एयरड्रॉप हो गया, माइनिंग हो गया, सैलरी इनकम जैसे आपने बताया, कंसल्टेंसी इनकम, या फिर बहुत सारे CoinDCX के यूजर्स दे यूज द अर्न प्रोडक्ट ऑफ CoinDCX, तो उस पर कैसे टैक्स लगेगा? सो ऑल ऑफ दीज आर नॉट टैक्स्ड एट फ्लैट 30%. राइट, सो दैट इज अ बिग रिलीफ, क्योंकि ऑल ऑफ दीज ट्रांजैक्शंस एज एंड व्हेन यू रिसीव इट, कि जब भी आपको ये इनकम रिसीव हो रही है, उस वक्त आपको जो उसका मार्केट वैल्यू होगा दैट विल बी टैक्स्ड एट योर इनकम टैक्स लायबिलिटी। तो अगर मैं इसको और एलॉबरेट करके बताऊं कि लेट्स से आई एम टेकिंग पार्ट इन द अर्न प्रोडक्ट ऑफ CoinDCX और इसमें लेट्स से आई गॉट 0.1 इथेरियम एज रिवॉर्ड्स। अभी 0.1 इथेरियम की वैल्यू थी व्हेन आई रिसीव्ड इट वाज 10,000 रुपीज। तो इस 10,000 पे आई नीड टू पे टैक्स एट इनकम टैक्स लायबिलिटी। और फिर लेट्स अज्यूम कि इस इथेरियम को मैंने सेल नहीं किया, आई हेल्ड इट फॉर 6 मंथ्स और 6 मंथ्स के बाद मैंने इसको बेचा फॉर 20,000 रुपीज। तो इस केस में वहां पर मेरा क्रिप्टो टैक्सेशन लग जाएगा बिकॉज आई एम सेलिंग अ वर्चुअल डिजिटल एसेट, आई एम सेलिंग अ क्रिप्टो एसेट। तो वहां पर हाउ विल माय गेन्स बी कॉम्प्यूटेड? सो दैट विल बी द प्राइस इंक्रीज। जो भी मेरा जिस दिन मेरे को 0.1 इथेरियम मिला था एज ए रिवॉर्ड एंड द डेट ऑन विच आई एम सेलिंग इट, इन दोनों डेट के बीच में जो प्राइस इंक्रीज हुआ उस पर मेरे को 30% से टैक्स देना है। तो हमारे एग्जाम्पल में मैंने बेचा उसको 20,000 पे, लेकिन मेरे को जब वो CoinDCX ने रिवॉर्ड पे किया था उस दिन की वैल्यू 10,000। सो 20,000 मेरा सेल वैल्यू हो गया, उसमें से मेरा कॉस्ट जो था वो 10,000 था। तो इफेक्टिवली जो मेरा 10,000 का गेन बनता है उस पर मेरे को 30% से टैक्स देना है। तो दिस इज फॉर, सो ये जो लॉजिक है इट अप्लाइज टू आपका स्टेकिंग इनकम पे भी सेम लॉजिक अप्लाइज। आपका अगर अर्न प्रोडक्ट से आपको इनकम आ रही है सेम लॉजिक अप्लाइज, या फिर कंसल्टेंसी इनकम आ रही है, सैलरी इनकम आ रही है, सो ऑल ऑफ दिस वर्क ऑन द सिमिलर कॉन्सेप्ट। तो जब आपको रिसीव हो रहा है, सैलरी हो रहा है, कंसल्टेंसी इनकम हो रहा है या फिर स्टेकिंग रिवॉर्ड्स हो रहा है, तो इन सारे चीजों में जब आपको रिसीव होता है उस वक्त की मार्केट वैल्यू पर आपको इनकम टैक्स लायबिलिटी से टैक्स देना है। फिर आप अगर उसको होल्ड करते हो और होल्ड करने के वजह से अगर आपको प्रॉफिट हो रहा है तो उस प्रॉफिट पे आपको 30% से टैक्स देना है। तो दैट इज फॉर आपका जो स्टेकिंग इनकम, अर्न इनकम, सैलरी और कंसल्टेंसी के लिए। बट कमिंग टू एयर ड्रॉप्स, तो एयर ड्रॉप्स इज अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्सेप्ट क्योंकि बहुत सारे क्रिप्टो इन्वेस्टर्स को दे रिसीव एयर ड्रॉप्स लाइक थ्रू आउट द ईयर। सो किसी few investors get it in lakhs, few get it in crores. So like many investors are very fond of airdrops and that is very common and unique to the crypto industry. तो यहाँ पर क्या होता है कि airdrops are a kind of a gift for income tax purposes, क्योंकि मैंने शायद कुछ किया नहीं था वो airdrop पाने के लिए, है ना, या फिर मैंने कुछ किया भी था बट इट वाज नॉट डायरेक्टली विद द इंटेंशन कि मेरे को airdrop मिल जाए। तो इन सिंपल वर्ड्स फॉर इनकम टैक्स पर्पस इट इज अ गिफ्ट। और जब गिफ्ट की बात आती है फॉर टैक्स पर्पसेस आपको एक साल में 50,000 तक का टैक्स फ्री लिमिट मिलता है। सो लेट्स से अगर फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2022-23 में अगर मेरे को 30,000 का एयर ड्रॉप मिला आर्बिट्रम का, तो दैट एयर ड्रॉप इज नॉट टैक्सेबल फॉर मी क्योंकि मेरे को साल में कोई और एयर ड्रॉप मिला नहीं था, सिर्फ आर्बिट्रम मिला था जिसकी वैल्यू 30,000 थी। नाउ बिकॉज 30,000 इज विद इन द 50,000 लिमिट, आई डोंट हैव टू पे एनी टैक्स ऑन दैट। अभी अगर मैं दूसरा एग्जांपल लूं कि लेट्स से कि मेरे को 30,000 का आर्बिट्रम का एयरड्रॉप तो मिला था, लेकिन उसके साथ मेरे को मेरे किसी दोस्त ने और 30,000 का मेरे को क्रिप्टो गिफ्ट कर दिया था। तो यहाँ पर टोटल जो मेरा गिफ्ट का इनकम बन के आ रहा है वो एयरड्रॉप 30,000 है और गिफ्ट जो मेरे को मिला था 30,000, सो टोटली 60,000 रुपीज। तो क्योंकि 60,000 इज मोर देन द 50,000 लिमिट, इस वजह से जो आपका 60,000 का गिफ्ट और एयरड्रॉप का इनकम है इट विल बी फुल्ली टैक्स एट योर इनकम टैक्स लायबिलिटी। तो दैट इज द फर्स्ट पॉइंट कि जब मेरे को एयरड्रॉप रिसीव हुआ या मेरे को गिफ्ट रिसीव हुआ आई विल चेक द 50,000 लिमिट। अगर वो क्रॉस हो रहा है आई विल पे टैक्स एट इनकम टैक्स लायबिलिटी, अगर वो क्रॉस नहीं हो रहा है इट इज नॉट टैक्सेबल। और यहाँ पर दूसरी चीज ये आ जाती है कि समझे कि मेरे पापा ने मेरे को गिफ्ट किया 1 बिटकॉइन, उस पर मेरे को टैक्स देना है क्या, या फिर उस पर पापा को टैक्स देना है क्या? सो दिस ट्रांजैक्शन जहां पर आपको क्लोज फैमिली मेंबर से कोई भी क्रिप्टो रिसीव होता है सो दैट इज नॉट टैक्सेबल। तो अगर मेरे पापा ने मेरे को एक बीटीसी भी दिया जिसकी वैल्यू इज 30 लाख रुपीज, सो दैट इज नॉट टैक्सेबल नाइदर टू हिम नॉट टू मी, राइट। तो वो जो 50,000 का लिमिट है इट इज नॉट एप्लीकेबल व्हेन द गिफ्टिंग इज बिटवीन क्लोज फैमिली मेंबर्स। अभी एक और इशू वहां पर आ जाता है कि समझे पापा ने 10 लाख पे खरीदा था, उन्होंने मेरे को गिफ्ट किया 1 बिटकॉइन जो उन्होंने 10 लाख पे खरीदा था, एंड व्हेन ही गिफ्टेड टू मी आई डिड नॉट पे एनी टैक्स, नाइदर ही पेड एनी टैक्स क्योंकि गिफ्ट बिटवीन क्लोज फैमिली मेंबर्स इज नॉट सब्जेक्ट टू टैक्स। अभी यहाँ पर मैंने फिर उस बिटकॉइन को लेके जाके बेचा आफ्टर लेट्स से 1 ईयर, तो मैंने उसको 30 लाख पे बेच दिया। अभी इस पर टैक्सेशन कैसे लगेगा? दैट इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन। तो यहाँ पर आपका टैक्सेशन विल बी इन वेरी सिंपल वर्ड्स, मैं मेरा सेल वैल्यू लूंगा, मैंने 30 लाख पे बेचा है, अभी यहाँ पर कॉस्ट जो है, मैंने तो कुछ कॉस्ट इनकर नहीं किया, मेरे को तो पापा ने गिफ्ट दिया था। तो इस केस में पापा का जो कॉस्ट था, व्हिच ही परचेज्ड, जो पापा ने 10 लाख देके 1 बिटकॉइन खरीदा था, दैट विल बिकम कॉस्ट फॉर मी। तो जब मैं 30 लाख पे बेच रहा हूँ, उसमें से मैं पापा का कॉस्ट रिड्यूस करूंगा, व्हिच इज 10 lakhs, और जो मेरा गेन है 20 lakhs, ऑन दैट आई विल पे 30% टैक्स। सो दैट इज हाउ द टैक्सेशन वर्क्स फॉर गिफ्ट। तो अगर मैं इसको समराइज कर दूं, सो फर्स्ट थिंग इज, अगर आपको एयर ड्रॉप से गिफ्ट मिल रहे हैं, इट इज अप टू 50,000 इन अ ईयर, इट इज फुल्ली टैक्स फ्री। इफ वो गिफ्ट और एयर ड्रॉप टुगेदर दे आर क्रॉसिंग 50,000 लिमिट, इट विल बी फुल्ली टैक्सेबल एट योर इनकम टैक्स स्लैब रेट। तीसरी चीज है कि गिफ्ट्स बिटवीन क्लोज फैमिली मेंबर्स आर नॉट टैक्सेबल। और चौथी चीज है कि व्हेन आई सब्सिक्वेंटली सेल इट, तो वहां पर मेरा कॉस्ट जो है, अगर पापा ने गिफ्ट दिया था क्लोज रिलेटिव से, अगर मेरे को मिला था, तो उनकी जो कॉस्ट होगी दैट विल बिकम कॉस्ट फॉर माय टैक्स पर्पसेस। So that is all about airdrops, and I think many investors will be happy listening to the 50,000 tax free limit.
Okay, got it. So it is like a very similar question again जो आपने बताया उसी पे another question. If say I have a profit of 1000 USDT during the financial year 22 and 23, but I do not withdraw it from my bank account. So should I pay tax on that?
Yes, absolutely. I think this is one of the very interesting question, and this is something that many crypto investors believe that unless I withdraw my funds into INR, they are not taxable. So, क्योंकि because it is a very common thing in investors that we keep on trading between two crypto assets, we keep on swapping, and then we make profits in crypto, but ultimately we don't withdraw it. So the notion is that it is not taxable because I did not convert it to INR, or I did not withdraw it to my bank account. But the main point there is the tax law does not differentiate between whether you withdraw it in INR or you converted it to INR. So tax law, for in a very simple words, it says if you make a profit, you owe me 30% of that profit. So it is as simple as that. So if I make, let's say, even 100 USDT profit, so 30 USDT is the tax that I have to pay. This is without having regard to whether I withdraw it to INR or not. So that is not relevant for tax purposes.
Cool, मतलब मैं withdraw करूँ या ना करूँ, profit बन रहा है तो tax तो देना पड़ेगा बॉस।
Absolutely.
ठीक है, कूल। तो ये तो हमें समझ में आ गया कि अगर हमारे पास प्रॉफिट हो रही है तो फिर हमें टैक्स पे करना पड़ेगा, बट ऐसे बहुत से इन्वेस्टर्स हैं जो लोग क्रिप्टो माइनिंग भी करते हैं, तो हाउ इज क्रिप्टो माइनिंग टैक्स इन इंडिया?
Yes. So, like we discussed, few transactions which are not taxed at flat 30% rate. So, mining is also one of those transactions जहाँ पर आपको directly flat 30% का जो crypto tax law है उसके अंदर आप fall नहीं करोगे। तो जो भी आपका माइनिंग इनकम होगा, इट विल बी ट्रीटेड एज योर ऑर्डिनरी बिजनेस इनकम। अगर आप एक फुल टाइम माइनर हो, इट विल बी ट्रीटेड एज योर ऑर्डिनरी बिजनेस इनकम फॉर टैक्स पर्पसेस। तो जब भी आपको माइनिंग के रिवॉर्ड्स मिल रहे हैं, इट विल बी टैक्स एट योर इनकम टैक्स स्लैब रेट ओनली। तो द फर्स्ट पॉइंट ऑफ टैक्सेशन इज व्हेन आई रिसीव दोज माइनिंग रिवॉर्ड्स। सो व्हेन आई रिसीव दोज रिवॉर्ड्स, आई विल बी टैक्स्ड एट इनकम टैक्स स्लैब रेट। अभी देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी दैट आई विल होल्ड ऑन टू दैट रिवॉर्ड फॉर 1 week, 2 week, 3 weeks, so whatever the period I will hold it on. Now the tax law says the day you receive it to the day you sell it. Between these two dates, if the price increase, then on that price increase, you will pay me flat 30% tax on that. So again, if I were to summarize, if when you receive mining rewards, you pay tax at income tax slab rate. You hold those mining rewards for a specified period of time, and then it increases in value. Then on that increase, you will pay 30% tax rate. Now, another important question here, which many miners have, is can I claim deduction for expenses? So, yeah, because mining is a very expenditure heavy business. You have to invest significant amount of hardware into that, to spend on electricity, air conditioning, etc. So, miners in India will get deduction for the expenses that they incur for running the mining business. The only condition there is you cannot deduct any expense that was incurred in crypto.
Got it, Sonu. Thank you for this detailed answer. अब क्रिप्टो टैक्स की बात हो और टीडीएस की बात ना हो, ये तो हो ही नहीं सकता. They both go hand in hand. So, what is TDS on crypto transactions, and which are the forms that need to be filled?
Yes. So, crypto पे TDS जो था, it was applied it was again part of the budget 2022 introductions. So along with section 115 BBH, we also had the TDS section of 194S. So TDS in India was applicable from 1st of July 2022. So any trader who has traded after that on any Indian exchange will find that their tax return already contains TDS deducted for any selling that would have happened. So it is very important to understand what is TDS on virtual digital asset and how it works. So when the government introduced the law, they told in very simple words that if you as a seller are an Indian resident, so if I am selling my one BTC, let's say to you, Sudeshna, then I am an Indian resident. I'm staying in India for tax purposes. So when you are making the payment to me for acquiring one Bitcoin that I am selling, so you will have to deduct 1% TDS on that. So let's say you are paying me 10 lakh rupees to acquire one Bitcoin. So what you will do is on 10 lakh, you will calculate 1%, which is 10,000 rupees. So 10,000 rupees you will deposit against my PAN with the government as TDS, and the balance 9,90,000 rupees you will transfer it to my bank account. So that is how TDS works. Now, the second question that arises is, मेरा तो 10,000 आपने TDS deduct कर लिया, so how will I get refund of this, or what will happen to this 10,000 that was paid? Is it a tax? That is a very important question. So the point there is TDS is a form of advance tax. So it is not an absolute tax. It is a form of advance tax. मतलब I paid tax in advance. So because I sold one BTC for 10 lakh rupees to you, now when I file my ITR, I will declare this transaction telling I sold one BTC. The selling price was 10 lakh rupees, and let's say cost was 5 lakhs. So there I had a gain of 5 lakh rupees because I sold for 10 lakhs. My cost was 5 lakhs. So my net gain is 5 lakh rupees on that particular transaction. So on 5 lakhs, I will pay tax at 30%, which comes to 1.5 lakh approximately. Now 1.5 lakh is the tax that I have to pay when I file my return. But I have already paid advance tax of 10,000, which you deducted as TDS. So from my 1.5 lakh, I will reduce 10,000 TDS, which is already paid, and balance 1,40,000 I will have to deposit it with the government. So this is how TDS works. So we covered how 1% TDS is calculated. We also covered what happens to the TDS that is deducted. Now, third question is what happens if I am let's say, is there a limit to deducting TDS? So the government, when they introduced TDS section, they told that if you are a specified person, then the TDS threshold for you is 50,000. So until 50,000, I don't have to deduct TDS. But once it exceeds 50,000, I will have to start deducting TDS if I am a specified person. And so the next question basically arises: who is a specified person? So a specified person is essentially an individual or HUF. So in tax law, we have individuals are like ordinary citizens, and then we also have a concept of HUF. So if you are an individual or HUF, and you either don't have any business or profession income, so neither you are running any business nor are you a professional like doctors, CAs, lawyers. So if you don't have any of these incomes, you will be a specified person. Or if you have any of these incomes, whether as a business or as a profession, and your income from that business is up to 1 crore rupees, or your income from such profession is up to 50 lakh rupees, then in that case, you will still be considered as a specified person. Either I don't have any business or profession income, or I have business income up to 1 crore turnover, or I have profession income up to 50 lakh rupees. If I fall under any of these, I will be a specified person, and my TDS limit will be 50,000. So if I don't fall under any of these limits, my TDS limit will reduce to 10,000 rupees. Right? So we covered also like what are the TDS limit, and last question you asked me which TDS form is to be filed. So again, this is one of the most important questions that many crypto investors have. So basically, there are two forms that need to be that can be filed based on like how the investors are. So like we discussed, there is specified person and there is other than specified person. So precisely there are two different forms for each of them. So if I'm a specified person, I will have to file form 26QE. So form 26QE is applicable for specified person. So it is a very simple form. Any investor can fill it. You don't require TAN number to fill it. And it can very easily filled, and you will have to enter the PAN of the buyer, PAN of the seller. You enter the transactions detail, and immediately you can make payment of the TDS amount. Now, coming to if I am not a specified person. So I fall in the others category where my TDS limit is 10,000. So in that case, I will have to file the TDS form 26Q. Now, this is a significantly larger form which comes with a whole lot of complexity. So because what happens is if form 26Q is applicable to you, then you will deduct TDS on a monthly basis and remit it by 7th of next month to the government. You will file TDS return every quarterly. So you cannot file it as and when you are doing a transaction. You will file it only after the end of the quarter. And you will need a TAN number to file form 26Q. So it is a fairly complex form. So if any investor falls in that category, then it is better to take help of a tax professional. But then many investors ask us, is there a way out? So can I not file the form? So the answer very simply is yes. If any crypto investor is trading on Indian exchanges, then they don't need to file a separate form. So whatever,
I was about to come to that question. Please go ahead.
So if any investor is trading on Indian exchanges, they don't need to worry on whether they are a specified person, not a specified person, whether they need to file form 26QE or 26Q. So they don't have to worry about any of that because the exchange does the compliance on behalf of the buyer. So the buyer does not need to deduct TDS, does not need to file the form. Everything is taken care by the exchanges, and the community can just focus on their trading rather than worrying about the TDS compliances.
Yeah, thank you for covering that, Sonu. For people who are watching this video, CoinDCX also has this feature. So आपको वरी करने की जरूरत नहीं है, आपको बस आराम से सोच समझ के रिसर्च करके ट्रेड करना है, बाकी टीडीएस एंड टैक्स हम लोग संभाल लेंगे. So this brings me to since Indian exchanges की बात हमने कर ही ली है, so this brings me to the foreign exchanges. कि what would the scenario be in case I'm doing a peer-to-peer transaction on foreign exchanges?
Correct. So basically TDS जो हमने देखा था, we saw a very simple condition for TDS to be applicable is that the seller should be an Indian tax resident. So when I'm dealing in P2P transaction, I know who is the seller, and it is likely possible that that seller is an Indian tax resident, because if you are a non-resident, then you have a separate bank accounts with banks. It comes in the separate FEMA regulated ecosystem it becomes. So when I'm trading in P2Ps, I know exactly that the seller is an Indian tax resident. So the first point is I need to determine whether I'm a specified person or other, in which category do I fall. Based on that, I will have to collect the PAN of the seller, whoever is selling. I will need to deduct the TDS, and I will need to file the form manually. So these three things I will have to do as a buyer if I am trading on foreign exchanges and doing P2P transactions there. So if I'm doing P2P on foreign exchanges, I collect the PAN of the seller, I will deduct the TDS, and I will deposit it with the government by filing either form 26QE if I'm a specified person, or I will file form 26Q if I am falling under any other category.
So is the scenario same in case of doing spot trading on these foreign exchanges as well? Or does the scenario change?
Okay, so I think this is a bit of a gray area because there is no much clarity on how TDS will work on foreign exchanges. So like we saw, the first condition for TDS is that the seller should be an Indian resident. Now when I'm doing spot trading or let's say margin trading on international exchanges, I do not know who is my counterparty. And the second point, there is the exchanges by themselves are also not deducting TDS. So like how Indian exchanges are helping Indian investors comply with the laws, international exchanges are not bothered about that. So this is another issue. So what happens is I as an investor, neither I can find out who is the seller, whether he is Indian tax resident or not. Neither can I collect any of his tax documents. So even if I want to deduct TDS, it becomes a kind of an impossible situation. I do not know I do not know whether he has a PAN number or not. So I simply cannot deduct TDS. So like taking a conservative view here, we can say that TDS may not be applicable in such scenarios because it is simply not possible for an Indian investor to comply with those laws on a foreign exchange. So as a result, if a user is doing spot or margin trades on an international exchange, TDS deduction may not apply at this point of time. However, it is always like advisable to take the advice of a tax expert before like continuing trading on international exchanges.
या कंप्लीटली अग्रीड। तो जैसे एक्सचेंजेस में भी दो तरह के एक्सचेंजेस होते हैं, एक सेंट्रलाइज्ड होता है, एक डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड होता है। तो व्हाट इज द सिनेरियो इन केस आई एम ट्रेडिंग ऑन अ डिसेंट्रलाइज्ड एक्सचेंज?
Yes, again, TDS on decentralized exchange and foreign exchange is somewhat similar because, again, when I'm trading on decentralized exchange, there is no way for me to identify the seller or find out like it is a very far-fetched idea to even identify to whom the wallet belongs, right? So that is a very complicated scenario. And then especially it amplifies only because I'm trading on a DEX. So on DEX, you have liquidity pool, which provide liquidity for that pair. And then, so basically it is a very cumbersome exercise to even find out which wallet's liquidity you have received when you made the swap. So again, it is a pretty like a impossible kind of a situation, and currently it is a gray area. However, like taking a view, it can be said that TDS is not applicable on such transactions.
ओके, गॉट इट। थैंक यू फॉर दैट आंसर सोनू। तो जैसे आपने बताया कि अगर हम फॉरेन एक्सचेंजेस में टीडीएस कैलकुलेट करना थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट हो जाता है, तो व्हाट आर द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेज ऑफ नॉन डिडक्शन ऑफ टीडीएस एंड what are the consequences of non-payment of TDS at the same time?
Correct. So I think there is a bit changes when it comes to whether I deducted TDS, I did not deduct TDS, or I deducted TDS but I did not deposit with the government. So these are two different scenarios. So first thing is if I did not deduct the TDS at all. Now the first point of impact for me will be that I will have to pay interest on the TDS that was not deducted at the rate of 1% per month. So that is the first point, first implication of that. So I will have to pay interest on that TDS default. Second thing is penalties can also be levied on me equal to the amount of TDS for failing to comply with the TDS regulation. Now the third point is because I did not deduct the TDS, I would have also not filed the TDS form. So again, that is another implication that comes into the picture. So if I don't deduct TDS, so very simply I will pay interest on that, I will pay penalty on that, and like it can be a significant amount altogether. Now coming to the second part where I deducted the TDS, but I did not deposit it with the government. So this is something that has happened with a lot of investors. So because when the TDS rules came in, many buyers told that we will deduct TDS, which they deducted also, but then they did not deposit it with the government. So effectively what happens is, let's say I sold you one BTC for which you had to pay me 10 lakh rupees. So on that 1% TDS is 10,000. So you deducted 10,000 as TDS and you deposited 9,90,000 into my account. Now effectively this 10,000 has to reflect in my tax portal as TDS. But this will happen only if you file the TDS return. What if you did not file the return? Right? If you did not file the return, then I will not get the credit of that. So that means that is the kind of a loss for me. So effectively, in such cases, the government puts certain conditions on you, repercussions, we say so. So what happens is, if you deduct the 10,000 as TDS and you don't deposit it with the government, then you will pay interest at the rate of 1.5% per month. You will also pay penalty, which may be equal to the amount of TDS. Now, along with this, they also went a step ahead because of you, the seller may face hardships in claiming back the TDS. So they went a step ahead and they told that if you repeatedly do these offenses, then we may also prosecute you. Now, prosecution basically means that they may run cases on you. You may also land up in jail for a period of 3 months to 7 years. So all of this happens where you deduct TDS but you don't deposit it.
Okay, समझ गई। So is it compulsory to file the ITR?
Yes, I think this is one of the most important questions again from the crypto community, because many people tell that I have traded only for 1,000 rupees, I have traded only for 10,000 rupees. Should I file my ITR? So the point is, ITR does not depend on your trading volume. So what is relevant to determine whether you have to file ITR or not is whether you have any profitable trades during the year. So that would be the first criteria. When I have traded during the year, do I have any profitable trade? Because if I have a profitable trade, I owe taxes on that at 30%. So effectively, I need to file my ITR and declare those gains and pay taxes on that. So that would be the first criteria that investors should check, that whether they have any profitable trades. If you have it, you will have to file the tax return. Now, second thing is many investors would have taken very less number of trades. And let's say by chance, all the trades are in a loss. So effectively here, the second point that investors need to check is whether do I have any TDS deducted by the exchanges or by any buyer. If there is a TDS deduction, then again I will need to file the return to claim back that TDS. So effectively, if an investor believes that let's say 500 rupees TDS was deducted, so if he files the return, he will get a refund of that 500 TDS if all the trades are in a loss. But if he does not file, then that 500 basically it lapses.
Cool, समझ गए. तो जैसे हम तब स्पेसिफाइड इंडिविजुअल्स की बात कर रहे थे और उन पे टीडीएस कैसे एप्लीकेबल था, तो आई एम अ सैलरीड इंडिविजुअल एंड आई आल्सो डू थोड़ा बहुत ट्रेडिंग. So which ITR form is applicable for me? And another question in general would be, which ITR forms are applicable for individual crypto traders? Like there is ITR 2, ITR 3. So which form is applicable for which crypto trader?
So just to answer your first question, if you are a salaried individual and you are trading in crypto assets, which form is applicable to you? Now, because let's say if you had only salaried income, you could have simply filed ITR 1 because that is a very simple form only for salaried individuals. But because you traded in crypto assets, which is a type of capital gain, so you will have to file for ITR 2 form if you don't have any other sources of business income, right? Now, let's say you had salary income, you also had trading in crypto assets, and you also run a small business, right? So, in this case, you will have to file ITR 3 form. So, just to give a brief, if you are trading in crypto assets, there are only two ITRs that an investor can choose, that is ITR 2 or ITR 3. Now, ITR 2 I will choose when I don't have any business income. So, there are other criteria, but to keep it simple, if I don't have business income, I will choose ITR 2. If I have business income, I will choose ITR 3 form.
कूल. अब कौन सा आईटीआर फॉर्म भरना है ये तो समझ में आ गया. अब ये डिस्क्लोज कहाँ करें, मतलब वेयर शुड बी डिस्क्लोज क्रिप्टो ट्रेडिंग इनकम इन आईटीआर, ये भी बता दीजिए.
Yes. So for ITR 2 and ITR 3, we have a common schedule which is called as the schedule VDA in ITR. So in ITR, like there are various sections under which you declare your various types of income. So similarly, crypto के लिए we have a specified schedule जिसको हम schedule VDA बोलते हैं. तो उसमें आपको अपने सारे जो भी क्रिप्टो के ट्रेडिंग रिलेटेड इनकम है उसको आपको वहां पर डिक्लेयर करना होगा. एंड शेड्यूल वीडियो में आपको बेसिकली 5 चीजें पूछी जाती है कि आपका बाई डेट क्या है, आपका सेल डेट क्या है, आपका बाइंग वैल्यू क्या है और सेलिंग वैल्यू क्या है. एंड बेस्ड ऑन दिस आपका जो प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस निकल के आएगा, अगर वो प्रॉफिट है तो प्रॉफिट का अमाउंट आपको एंटर करना है, अगर लॉस है तो आपको वहां पर 0 डालना है. So this is the schedule VDA that crypto investors will have to fill, and based on this आपका वो मतलब it is a part of your tax return. यहाँ पर one important point to consider is इस पूरे schedule में उन्होंने कहीं पर आपको coin का name नहीं पूछा है कि आपको बिटकॉइन में प्रॉफिट हुआ है या फिर इथेरियम में हुआ है या फिर बिटकॉइन में लॉस हुआ है. So they have not gone into taking coin wise trade details. उन्होंने आपको सिर्फ बताया कि आपने डेट वाइज जो भी ट्रांजैक्शन किया आप वो डिटेल्स दे दीजिए हमें, दैट इज सफिशिएंट.
ओके, सो मतलब हमें एकदम डिटेल्स में नहीं बताना है, ऊपर ऊपर मोटा मोटा इन्फॉर्मेशन देने से हो जाएगा. सो इन केस पीपल हु आर लिसनिंग टू दिस वीडियो, कॉइनएक्स भी प्रोवाइड करता है रेडी टू फाइल रिपोर्ट इन शेड्यूल वीडीए फॉर्मेट फॉर इजी फाइलिंग ऑफ आईटीआर. And the good news is CoinX has partnered with CoinDCX to revolutionize your crypto tax experience. Now with just one click, you can look forward to tracking portfolio, ITR ready crypto tax report, and seamless ITR filing. Oh, also, we have 50% off on our first 1,000 users. Just use the code CoinDCX50 while registering with CoinX. So this was all about the FAQs on crypto transaction in India. Thank you, Sonu, for helping us with all the questions related to crypto transactions. And we hope आपके सारे questions answer हो गए होंगे with this video. But और भी अगर आपके दिमाग में कुछ भी questions आ रहे हैं, please let us know in the comment section ताकि हम उन्हें भी clear कर पाए with the help of our very own CA Sonu Jain. Thank you everyone. That was all for today's video. See you soon.
Crypto products and NFTs are unregulated and can be highly risky. There may be no regulatory recourse for any loss from such transactions.